Hi, I am Erica and I am going to talk about my farm, Charmed Life Farm, which is a small boarding facility in Loxahatchee, Florida. I have a 4-stall barn on 4 acres of land where the horses are turned out 12 hours a day. The horses get turned out in the warm months, they go out at night, and in the cool months, they go out during the day. The paddocks are rotated regularly to maintain the quality of grass pasture. We use a Western Timothy grass hay that we get consistently from a local feed store, and the horses have access to that at all times. Clean water is provided at all times. I scrub buckets every day and water troughs every 2 to 3 days. I also had the water quality tested when I purchased this property to make sure that there weren't any toxins or any of the levels were out of whack. I provide all of the horse care and farm maintenance, and I let the horse owners know if anything needs to be addressed medically or if there's a dental issue or a hoof issue. I'm really attentive to the horse's needs. So now I'm going to talk about my horse that I balanced his diet for this project. He is named Bert. He is an 8-year-old quarter horse cross who is in moderate work. He is in about 1 hour of work 5 times a week, and he goes on long trail rides with his owner on the weekends and shows about twice a month. He's stiff and sore after a day off, and also after a long show weekend. So his symptoms do suggest PSSM, and because he's a quarter horse, so we are going to recommend that his owner contact the veterinarian for diagnostics. And since he potentially has PSSM, we are going to put him on a low starch diet of less than 8% total starch, which he can maintain on Timothy hay, a ration balancer. We use the Triple Crown 30% ration balancer, and Rice Bran will help him meet his fat requirements and also his energy requirements since he is in moderate work. And that is it for my portion. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alex, and in this portion of the video, I'm going to be discussing my part on my group's final project. So one of the things I did was actually interpret a pasture analysis. So we did send off a sample to the lab, and because the farm is in Florida, composed of mainly warm season grasses, and because the soil quality is really just mainly sand, I was expecting the pasture analysis to come back indicating a very low quality pasture. I was a little bit surprised that it was a more intermediate quality. I mean, we have a couple of highlights here: digestible energy of 0.9 megacals per pound on a dry matter basis, and that's not really terrible considering you want it to be around a 1. The crude protein was actually pretty high with 16.4%, so this is going to meet protein requirements. The neutral detergent fiber and the RFV do indicate low digestibility, but you know, that was a little bit expected. Another good thing though was the calcium and phosphorus had a very good 1.7 to 1 calcium to phosphorus ratio. The calcium was 0.6% and the phosphorus is 0.35%, so those are very good values. And overall, this is a pasture that a horse would be able to get a lot of its maintenance requirements on just from this pasture alone. So the other portion of the project which I was responsible for was formulating a diet for a 2-month pregnant mare, Rosie. So feeding a pregnant mare is a little bit more involved. It's almost like feeding 3 separate horses because you have to take into account early gestation, late gestation, and lactation, and the nutrient requirements are different in all those stages. So for Rosie, who's an Appaloosa, which does tend to be an overweight breed, and she already has a body condition score of 6, feeding her a maintenance all-forage diet is perfectly fine up until 8 months of gestation. And what that would consist of is about half of her dry matter intake coming from pasture and about half of it being supplemented from a mixed grass hay. At that 8-month mark, however, her nutrient requirements do increase, so increasing the nutrient density of the feed is important. And you do that by replacing some of that mixed grass hay with an alfalfa hay, and also gradually introducing a concentrate. The concentrate I chose was Triple Crown Growth, which does contain some oats and soybeans, so it is more energy dense. When she foals, however, she does increase her nutrient requirements again during lactation, so increasing the percentage of her feed coming from those nutrient-dense feeds is important. So increasing the concentrate and increasing the alfalfa would be necessary in order to meet her energy and nutrient requirements. Also, she should be on pasture throughout all of gestation and lactation, as well as having a salt block provided as well.